Hi there, it's Ruth at aRTful Stampin, bringing you a new card to make this week, and I'm going to be using the Guy Greeting stamp set here. I'll just give you a little bit of a close-up of what we're going to be doing. Okay, so I start off with a crumb cake base, and this has been cut to, this is good, this will test my memory, 4 3/4 by 5.5 inches. Okay, and we're going to be using the fabulous stencils that are available, and this is the stripey ones. And what I'm doing is I'm aligning the crumb cake card with one of the grid lines here, and then I'm placing the stencil over the top of it, roughly about 5.5 centimetres above. And I've used some post-it notes, as you can see, for the sample one that I made, to hold the stencil into place and also to make sure that I don't get any ink above the stencil. And I'm using Night of Navy ink, which is from the Regals collection. It's a really gorgeous dark blue, really rich. And what I'm going to do is just dab. I just want to check I've got this correct. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, yeah. I think my eyes were playing tricks on me then. And all I'm going to do is just dab the ink on. As you can see, I'm holding this down a little bit as well, because in your exuberance to try and get the area covered, you might get a bit quicker, like I'm doing, and sometimes you might catch the sides and lift the stencil off and then get ink where you don't want it to go. So it's worth just spending some time building up the colour. Don't be tempted to rub the colour in, just dab it on, and before you know it, it will be covered. Okay, that's it, all done. So I'm going to keep mine there for stamping in a second. I'm just going to lift that off, and as you can see, then you're left with those fabulous stripes. Okay, I think I've done mine maybe a little bit shorter than my original card. Okay, so if you want to do it like my original one, I think maybe 7 centimetres above would be fine. But you know what, I'm not being super strict about this, because I don't think it really matters. Okay, and then I want to show you, this is the new tear and stick tape that we've got, and look at that, it literally does tear. Okay, we could not do that with our old sticky strip. And what you do is you pop that on and lift off the white layer, and voila, done. And I've got some this chocolate chip, I think it's chocolate chip, oh no, early espresso seam binding here. And all I'm doing is just to cover up the edge there, is I'm popping some of this on, and as I go along I'm just creasing it backwards and forwards as I go along. And again, you don't have to be super strict about this, just create the waves. It's just to create a little bit of texture, a bit of interest. Okay, because if you are going to have it exact, then you will be here all day doing that, so might have space for another little one there. Okay, that's it. And then bring back the tear tape and pop a little bit more on the back there, and you can see how easy it tears. It really is. And you know, I know there's nothing wrong in using scissors, but when you're making a lot of cards, it's sometimes easier not to have to pick up your scissors to cut the tape away. Okay, so that's off, and I'm just going to pop that over the back there. And I'm just going to use a little bit of the gold, sorry, it's not gold, it's very vanilla, but it's got gold running through it. This is the thick baker's twine. I'm just going to tie a knot there. And I'm actually going to be doing this card at I'm doing a card and craft buffet tomorrow evening. Oh no, it will be this evening, sorry. This will go out on Monday. And this is going to be one of the cards we're doing. So, okay, I'm just going to set that aside. Oh no, actually, before I set that aside, I'll just ink the edges a little bit, just to give it a little bit more interest. And to be quite honest, what happened was when I did this first card, you can see that little bit of a splodge there. It was because I was sponging too hastily and I caught the edge of it. So in order for it not to look like it was a mistake, I then just sponged the edges. But then I actually was really happy with the effect. So, you know, there's no such things as mistakes in crafting. Just opportunities to create something better. That's what I say. Right, so I'm going to set that aside. Okay, so the stamp that I've used is the lovely car image from Guy Greetings. And I have to confess, I'm using some cardstock that has retired because I absolutely love it. It's Naturals Ivory. And if anyone from Stampin UP is listening, please bring it back because it's fabulous. But I really miss it. However, we do have a lovely new thick white cardstock, so I cannot complain there. Right, that's been stamped. Actually, while I'm here, I might just stamp a word. And I've just put the word classic here. Okay, and so all I need to do is actually just stamp the word classic. And then just stamp that there for cutting out in a second. And then we're using the 2-inch circle punch. And the card doesn't fit exactly inside it, but I think you get a good enough amount of the image for it not to really matter. Oh, what have I just done? Haha! I've just stamped that in the... Okay, never mind. Right, well then, if you want it to look like the original card, stamp onto crumb cake, not the Naturals Ivory. Sorry, just made a mistake. But there we go. You get to see what it looks like in a different colour way. I mean, this would work with very vanilla as well. So don't worry if you don't have any of this card in your stash. It can work with other things. Okay, and because I want to punch a hole at the top there, this is the word window punch. I'm making sure that the word is at the edge there. Okay. And then to create an interesting mat to this image here, I've used the fabulous label punch. So I've already cut a piece of card here, and it's 2 inches across by 2 3/4 inches the length of it. Okay, and all we do is we pop it in, punch it, turn it around, and punch it again. And that should be, hopefully, if I've done my measurements correctly, the right amount just to mat that like that. Okay, so to make this stand out a little bit more, I'm just going to ink the edges of this and also my matting layer. Okay, matting is a term that us crafters use, particularly paper crafters, for when making cards or doing scrapbooking, and it basically means to layer card on top of each other to give it a bit of a background. Okay, I'll just use the wrong side there. Right, okay. And then to create a little bit of a shadow, I've got a crumb cake stamping marker here, and I'm just going around the car image just to make it look like there's a little bit more of a shadow. I'm even going around the top of it just to highlight it a little bit more. You don't have to do that, but I just quite like the look of it. And then if you've got one of the white chalk markers, that's quite fun just to make, you know, bring out the highlights perhaps on the bumpers of the car and the headlights and, you know, some of the little lights. It doesn't make a huge amount of difference, but it's just quite a nice little added interest bit. Okay, so let's pop those away. Right, where's my dimensionals? I've got a few left on here to use. Use that. All we do is just pop that on the back. Okay, if you live near me, I live in Mid Wales, so if you live in Shropshire or the Mid Wales area, then I run quite a lot of classes and events, and I've got quite a busy month this month with various things going on. So if you're interested in attending one of my classes, then do drop me a line or have a look at my website, aRTfulstampin.co.uk. Right, here I've got my trusty old crocodile, and I'm just going to cut a little hole in there. We do sell some punches now. We don't sell the crocodile anymore, but we do sell some little round punches. So if you haven't got a hole punch, then do have a look at our catalogue, because we do have some available. Okay, so I'm just going to ink a little bit at the edge of this one, and then start gluing it all together. I think I'm just going to glue that onto my card base now, actually, because it's got that bit of sticky on the back and it's going to annoy me if I keep having to unstick it from the grid paper. And the nice thing about using Tombow glue is that you've got a few seconds to kind of move it around before it absolutely sticks. Okay, so even though I didn't do my stripes as high up as the original card, as long as I'm placing the image that I've done here in the centre between the ribbon and the top of the card, it looks absolutely fine. A lot of the secret to making nice balanced cards is to do with spacing and the spacing between different images. Okay, so all that remains for me to do is to pop the baker's twine through the little hole there. Oh, and make sure I get the little gold bit inside as well, so that it doesn't unravel. And then just tie a knot in that to keep it secure. And then I think I might just trim those off. Right, and there we go. A classic male kind of card, or for a lady who likes cars, but it's kind of masculine colours, so I envisage it would be a nice birthday card for a man. And using the stripey stencils and some ribbon, hey, ribbon on a men's card, eh? And some baker's twine. So you could probably see how if you change the image you could create quite a feminine card, maybe change the colours around and used a more sort of feminine image, then you could really change the look of this card. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and don't forget that if you join Stampin' Up in the month of June 2015, it only costs £99 for £130 of product, and you get to choose two extra free stamp sets this month, and it ends on the 30th of June. So do drop me a line if you're interested, and I'm quite happy to have a little chat with you and just tell you what it's like being a Stampin' Up demonstrator. Okay, thanks for joining me. Take care. Bye.